In this video, we're going to talk about how to print from Simbly, how to print your entire manual, a section of your manual, only your documents that are still pending approval by your board, or an individual policy or procedure. We're also going to talk about how to download documents from your manual. If I want to print my entire manual, I can start from the board policy manual page, and on the far right of my screen, I find a little printer icon. If I click on that, I'll be taken to a Print Policies page with several options to choose from. Using these toggles, I can tell Simbly what kind of documents I want to include in my printout. So in this case, if I only wanted to include policies, I could toggle off Administrative Form, Regulation, and Procedure, and only policies would appear in my printout. Right now I want to print my entire manual, so I'm going to leave all of these things toggled on. My next option allows me to select the status of documents that I want to include in my printout. For example, if I wanted to print all of the documents that were pending approval, I would uncheck Adopted and check Draft. But in this case, I want to print my whole manual, so I'm going to leave Adopted checked. I want to turn on Include Footnotes. Footnotes are your cross-references and legal references that appear at the bottom of every printed policy or procedure, and MSBA recommends including those. Next, I'm going to toggle on Include Table of Contents. I'm going to toggle on Include Page Numbers. Those are nice because they let your board members or other readers more easily navigate through your documents. At the bottom, I can select which sections I want to include. So for example, if I only wanted to print Section G, I would uncheck all of these boxes except for Section G. I'm printing my entire manual, so I'm going to check everything. I can use the Select All button up here. Okay, now I'm going to click on the Print button in the right-hand corner of my screen. Simbly gives you the option to either stay on this page to wait for the document to finish processing, or I can continue to work in Simbly while it processes in the background. This is going to be a large document, so I'm going to continue, and we'll talk about how to print a section of your manual. Again, from the home screen, if I want to print Section H of my manual, I can use the table of contents on the left to click on Section H, then click on the Print button, and we're taken to a print screen with fewer options because Simbly already knows that I only want to print Section H. Once again, I can choose document types, I can choose the status, I'm going to include footnotes, table of contents, and page numbers, and click Print. Again, I have the option to stay on this page and wait or continue. We'll continue again, and I'll show you how to print an individual policy or procedure. If I want to print policy JHCD, I can search for that using my code column, click on the title of the document to view it, and from the view screen, in the upper right-hand corner, I have another print button. So if I click on the print button, I'm taken to the print screen again, this time with even fewer options because Simbly knows that I'm printing a single document. I want to include footnotes and page numbers, and click Print. This time I'm going to stay on this page to wait for it to finish processing because one document will process fairly quickly. Now you can see it has processed my document and prepared it for printing. I have two options. I can either print this document or I can download it as a PDF. To download it as a PDF, I click on the down arrow in the upper right-hand corner of my screen. What happens next may vary based on how your computer is configured. Right now, I have the option to choose where I want to save my document, and I can rename it if I like. I can also print my document by clicking on the printer icon. Again, the exact appearance of this window may differ depending on how your computer is configured, but from here, I can print this by clicking Print down there. Now, some of my documents have been processing in the background, and I can tell that they're finished by looking at the bell icon in the top toolbar. I can see if it has a little number next to it, that simply is telling me that I have one document ready for printing. So I click on the bell icon, and I can see my policy JHCD that I just looked at. I can also see Negotiations of Board Policy Manual. Section H is ready to print. I can click here on this underlined click here link, and once again it will take me to the processed print ready version of my document. which I can either download as a PDF or print. And that's the way to use the print feature in Simbly.